Welcome back to the camp prior to Stones River. I've already done some unit organization to cut down on watching unit swaps. I'm going to put my point into training and then briefly cover how I've set the units up, or the cores up. The cavalry isn't going to be coming in. All of these units are going to get disbanded. This corps has nothing in it. We'll start. This is going to be the first corps that comes in. I have a lot of my newer units and all of my best artillery in here. I've put all of these 3-star to high 2-star units under a really good Major General to get as much efficiency bonus as I can out of it. And I've pulled a couple of extra infantry brigades into here, so I have 12. Then this is going to be, actually this is going to be the corps that comes in second. This one's a little odd because you don't get the full deployment. I'm half convinced this is actually a bug. There is a reinforcement slot for 6 units in this corps, but they just never, it doesn't work. It seems like it triggers as soon as the battle starts, but they never come on the field, so I don't know what's going on there. If anyone has any opinions on if that's something that would be considered a bug versus a developer choice and it should get fixed, I can't fix the actual reinforcement, but I can change one of the other ones that does work to bring those units in that would normally come in. So I'm just curious what people's opinions on that are. So these units are never going to see the field. Only one of these units is going to see the field. So that's why I have these lined up, so no matter which one it chooses, I'll get them. 6 of these are going to show up first, and then these 4 plus 1 are going to come in second. So that's why I have the infantry stockpiled here, because I'm kind of short on infantry for this battle. There's just a lot of places to be, so I'm bringing as much as I can. And then this is my corps that comes in last. Actually, maybe I might switch that around. This might be my center corps, but yeah, actually, sorry, this is the center corps. So I'm going to come in with my second best, all my second best units basically. Though I think this is my best infantry. Okay, so first things first, what I want to do is add veterans while the average recruit pool stat is a little lower. The veterans always get the amount of, or the stats of the unit they go into. So I'm going to draw this number down, and then I'm going to disband those militia units into the pool and get a little higher stats out of it. And I'm either putting 2,500 in, or if it's less than 50, then I'm just going to do.
Yes, sir.
Then I'm just going to do recruits. Swap a couple units over to Harper's Ferry so I don't run out of Enfields and buy more than I need. So I think I'm actually going to run a surplus of rifles in this battle. And I think that's just going to keep, that surplus is just going to keep growing for the next several battles, because I can only field mostly 2 corps for a while. So my army isn't really going to be growing for a little bit. Filling these guys up is pushing scaling a little bit. I'm a little bit over the limit, but I think it adds like a gun or 2, but I don't know which one's coming in, so it's not that big a deal. These guys I'm going to leave as is. It's lowering scaling slightly, and that I'm not adding men, but the average getting drawn down by these smaller units doesn't actually do anything. Okay, so you're just going to be rookies. Same for all of you. You guys are fine. Actually, the AI doesn't have any skirmishers in this battle, so I think I'm going to boost you up, do a little bit more damage, and if they take damage, they'll get whittled down. I'm not quite going to have enough, unless I take no casualties on my snipers, which I don't think is going to be the case. I'm not going to quite have enough Whitworth TSs in the next battle, or after this battle, to boost one of these units up to having them. So that's fine. They'll probably go down I'll take losses somewhere. I could boost these up to 8, but adding 3 cannon adds 6 or 7 to the AI, and a lot of my losses in this battle already come from their artillery, so I'm not going to do that. I think I'm close to hitting the breakpoint where I'm going to be able to start boosting these guys up a little bit, but we'll have to see how it goes. At 8 guns, they're still 7 and 8 guns. They're still doing pretty well, so I don't really have any complaints with their performance. And this battle, we are probably going to be floating money at the end of. Just because a lot of our units are in pretty good shape, and we just don't need to add a whole lot to them. So we might as well start stockpiling some extra. It'll help make up for the losses in some of the harder battles towards the end of the campaign. And I'm only going to be going up to 1100 again. Doing this is already going to push up scaling by a little bit. Swap you over. Yeah, sure, that's enough.
Yes, sir.
So if I don't, before I make any of these changes, I'm sitting at about, I think, 58,000 men, something like that. With those militia units in, I'm actually facing something like 78,000 men. So that's why those are getting disbanded. It's giving them something like 20,000 men and giving them an extra, I think it's something like 20 or 30 cannon. So just no need to face that, so getting rid of them now that they've served their purpose. And it'll make our rookies a little bit better when we dump them into here. You can see I'm stopping when there's a little less than 50 men to add. I'm fine with adding that amount of rookies. Okay, these guys I think can all take rookies, but I'm fine with the bad stats going in because these guys are pretty good shape either way. Not sure. Okay, I can just barely get away with it here. These guys are not going to go up because I really want to get this number of extras increasing so I can get a third unit set up. Okay, you need a veteran, or I could swap the officer, but I think I'm just going to put the veterans in. Okay, so now that we've drawn that down a little bit more, we are going to get rid of all of these guys and watch those stats go up. So now we're sitting at 38, 36, 25, 26. I want to say if without doing, when I did it without disbanded them immediately, I think I lost an extra point in firearms and melee when I did that. Don't remember for stamina and morale, but so a little bit better rookies to dump in. So now we're going to go back through and do that. I probably could get away with going down to 1,000 as opposed to going up to 1,100 and dropping scaling a little bit, but that's getting close to the point where I'm not entirely sure I could keep the unit intact. Some of these units are going to go down to like 600, 500 as is, which is already lower than I really like, but it's still enough to do their job. I'm swapping in the Brigadier Generals now because I have plenty of extra officers and I want to get the extra damage bonus perk. I may lose it in the future depending on how many guys I have to replace, but we'll see how it goes. Actually, before I do that, I want to put my crappy generals in here just to get them out. I'll use those major generals elsewhere. I think I'm swapping some stuff around here, but I'll worry about that after I get these upgraded. Alright, so we've got another perk. And while it is endangering the generals a little bit, the extra damage is usually pretty good, so
Yes, sir.
always take it when I'm pretty happy to take it in this case, just because I have such a backlog of officers, and I'm going to have a lot of extras that can filter back through, and if I need to go back down to 1 star in the next battle, I can. Check the weapons. We're going to get as many as we can up to Harper's Ferries. Wait a minute, I already did that. And when I'm done with this, I'll do a quick comparison of the Harper's Ferry and the Enfield. They're pretty similar weapons, but mostly I want to show off the... Oh, let's grab the perk. The new weapon tooltips I put in. This is being done under the 1.6 version of the UI mod. I was brainstorming with another guy on Reddit, or not on Reddit, on YouTube. Apologies for the name completely escaping me. I believe it was Kyle? Kai? You know who you are. Sorry about that. But came up with a slightly better way to display some of the range information, which will hopefully help out. I'm a pretty big fan of it, but I also know a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes. So if it isn't clear, let me know if you have any questions. But we'll go into that in a little more detail when I go to look at the weapons.
Yes, sir!
Okay, we got a couple more units worth of those. I think that's going to be about it. Excellent. Get the perk. And you can see we're doing pretty well on money. Like, we're not having to our units are in good enough shape. We're not having to spend a whole lot. We're not buying any weapons. Now that I've cut back on some veterans, our units are slightly lower experience, but we're starting to backlog that money a little bit, which I just want to have available to give me a little more leeway in terms of if I need to change my strategy towards the end of the campaign, then I have a backlog to be able to do it. Because these are the easy battles in a lot of ways.
Sir, yes, sir!
Actually, pretty close. If we put a general in there, we might... Where does that put us? 97? Probably need a pretty good one. Yeah, we're just going to go with the Colonel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do a comparison on if the Enfield or the Springfield 55 is better in a second. Okay, definitely upgrading from the Mississippis. Lorenses are still pretty good. I'll probably leave those in. Just because these units are going to take a lot of damage, so I might as well use slightly lower caliber or quality rifles. Though the Lorenz is pretty comparable to the Harper's Ferry in a lot of ways. But I'm not getting more of them anymore. Okay, let's upgrade the General, keep the Star.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the total number of men we're going to bring in. Now we need to do a pass for weapons and officers. 78. So I'm going to swap out Lee at this point. Actually, okay, that's what I was going to do. So Johnson's going to go in the division that comes in second. just so I get the cover bonus, and they're going to be doing a decent amount of fighting, so we'll level them up. It would be...
Yes, sir.
And then Panda Kraut's going to go into the corps that is going to have to do some marching, so we'll put the stamina bonus, or the speed bonus on him, and they're also going to take some losses, so we'll go with experience. It would be nice to have experience in the corps that comes in first, but the way I'm doing it, I want as much speed as possible, so I'm going with the double speed bonuses. And let's see, get a second star. 2 experience, yeah, he's going to have to stay there. But that's always good. Not going to get him. These guys are all fine. Not even going to bother assigning an officer here. Or, wait. I can't remember if these guys come in. I'll toss someone on here. Just in case we accidentally go to day 2. Or end up going to day 2 and I don't think he shows up, but just in case. Okay. We have a lot of spare generals, so I'm just going to toss one on here. Actually, sure. Get you in there, get you some experience. Going up a little bit, because as this value is going to go up during the battle, this value will not go up during the battle. Updated command happens at the end of the battle. So this means as I get kills and the efficiency goes up, I'll have a little bit more leeway where I won't be losing points due to the command value being low. Okay, you need someone better. Sure, Longstreet can go there. Actually, I think maybe it's you. Thought when I tested this, there's one of these units I can get to 2-star. Okay, I can get you. Does that mean I can get this unit? No, not quite. Thought they were at 71 as well. Now they're 72. I guess maybe that experience bonus must be more from the general in this case than the actual unit stats. And this unit, instead of taking the stealth, I am actually going to start switching over to the accuracy. I kind of wish I'd done that a little bit more for my long-range artillery. I feel like most of the time I haven't been needing it, but there's a very specific instance in Cold Harbor, at least, where I'm going to want the stealth and the cover. So I don't regret that decision too much, but I'm going to get some extra units here with the accuracy perk just to do as much damage as possible to be able to blow through fortifications late game. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get these guys to 3-star by the end of the campaign. Perhaps. I'll swap them forward, and I guess maybe if there's battles, I'm sure I can put 24 pounders on them without losing men. I might do it. Let's see how that goes. Okay. Actually, you know what? That guy has more experience. Let's see if this is enough. Nope. Okay, we need a better commander here. We don't have one. Not really. I think... Alright, we're going to swap the Major General into Division Command here. It's complete overkill, but that'll keep those units topped up. Okay, looking good. And not all these are going to be maxed, but as good as I can do. Pretty much as good as I can do without pulling some of these guys or something. Okay, that's all the officers. Now I think I want to do some weapon swapping. 24 pounder, 10 pounder, that's what I want. All 10 pounders. 24, 10, 24, 24, and then do Tredigars. Not actually bringing the Whitworth. Where I'm going to have my artillery most of the time, I'm not going to use the range. And, well, I don't know, I could use the range. Oh, right, that's what I was doing. I could put it on, I could put one of the Whitworths out here, but I think I'm just going to stay with the 10 pounders. I'm going to be moving around a lot, and it's really variable where the enemy artillery is, so I'm just going to stick with the 10 pounders instead of the Whitworth. But I'm gonna keep you here for the accuracy bonus. I'm gonna swap you out. Probably gonna buy those, but let's do this first. So the reason I'm doing this is 24 pounders always get the most kills. Like, just in general, there's a lot of infantry, they get more kills. The counter battery artillery is a very important job, but they just don't build the efficiency. So I'm gonna swap my 24 pounders onto the units that need experience, and then I will swap the counter battery onto these experienced units who don't really need anything anymore, and they'll just do as much damage as possible.
Sir, yes, sir!
Yeah, I'm gonna swap you. Okay. Wait a minute. I have this backwards. 24 pounder, 24 pounder, 20 pounder, 10. Actually, I think I'm going to swap this unit, because I want to have 24 pounders on that unit. Yeah, we'll take you, because you're coming in pretty early. Wait, you're only 1 star. Need a 2-star unit from somewhere. Sure, we'll grab you. So we've got a 24 pounder, we got 3 24 pounders. Good. Got an extra unit here. Okay, and then what am I missing? So I've got 19, 20, okay, I've got an extra unit here. Where is he? Okay, so you are going to come over here. Swap you out. Oh wait, you don't have the perk. Okay, we're just going to give the 24 pounders to, debating if I put the 24 pounders on here, because they'll do better, or if I just put them on you. I think I'm going to put them on here. They'll do fine without it, and this guy will get rid of the artillery faster. So I think I'm okay with that. Okay, I think that's what we're going to be bringing in. Do the armory quick, and then we'll take a quick look at some weapons. I'm going to buy like 150 of these. Not sure if I'll need them, but I'd rather have some extras just in case. Buy all those, buy all these, and I'm thinking I'm going to pick up a few more of the Tredigars, just to... But I'm running into some battles where I'm going to be running into some battles where I really need to kill off infantry fast, and these are going to be better at it than some of my other options since I don't have 20 pounders. I don't think I'm going to buy anything else. The other option is I could get more 24 pounders. Not sure if I already have 8 more in the armory. Not sure if I need to though. So I've got 3. Already more than enough over here. So I have the choice. I could get more 24 pounders or I could get more Richmonds. The Richmonds are pretty good. 24 pounders are always useful. I don't think saving the reputation gets me much. Options get pretty limited and pretty expensive going forward. I think I'm going to take the 24 pounders. Rifles are rifles, past a point. 24 pounders let me annihilate units, especially late game. Okay, let's do a brief overview. I just want to do some comparisons. So, sure, we'll do it over here. It's a little easier to see. So you can see there's no longer a damage and an accuracy stat. There's just a damage range because that's how the calculation works. You just multiply the accuracy times the damage, and then there's a random number rolled between the low to high. And then I've also added a range damage multipliers. So this is a value that changes based on how far away the target that you're shooting at is. And for artillery, I've shown it at 100 range, and then short, medium, long, and max range. The short, medium, long, and max is going to depend on the actual weapon itself. So in this case, the effective range is 1700, so max is 1700 or anything longer than that if you manage to shoot outside the cone. And then short is basically a quarter of 1700, half, 3/4, etc. Only artillery is going to have that 100. Everything else is just going to have quarter, half, 3/4, max. But I feel like this does a much better job of showing which artillery and which weapons are good at which ranges. So you can see here that the Parrot is not great at short and canister range. Instead of 100, canister might have been a little bit better, but canister range can extend a little bit, and I'm also very limited in terms of text length, so I can't really add many more characters to make it more descriptive, so hopefully it's good enough. But you can see that the 10-pound Parrot's damage actually goes down up until its max range, at which point it goes back up again. When you contrast that with the 10-pounder ordnance, you can see pretty similar numbers at minimum range, but then at short and at medium range, at short range is much better than the 10-pounder Parrot, and then it's about the same at medium, and then worse at long, and then terrible at max. You can see similar things with Napoleon. Very good close in, tails off pretty quickly. Same thing with 12-pounder, and the values for the 6-pounder are actually pretty good, but the damage is just so low that it can't really compete. It's pretty close to the 12-pounder, unless you're doing point-blank canister, in which case you want the 12-pounder. But this also shows off really well, like the difference between the 10-pounder, these 3 cannon with their very high damage ranges, compared to basically everything else. And you can see some of the advantages, like this curve is really good, but the base damage is really low. And then you have the 24-pounder and the 20-pounder, which are just better than just about everything. So same thing applies to here, though these ranges are so short, it doesn't matter a whole lot. But hopefully this will be useful. Already helped me point out a couple of things to myself that I, even looking at the graphs, I didn't really realize. So, okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover. But I think that is it in terms of what we're going to be going in at. So we would be... Alright, I had mentioned earlier on, if we had nothing, it would be about 58, 59. If we, before we disbanded that extra 10k of men, we were facing like 78. Now we're going to be facing about 65. So, which isn't really a fair... So we have 44, not really a fair comparison, since 6 of those units are never going to see the field. But that only drops me by a couple thousand. So we're in pretty good shape going into the battle. Okay, I think that's it for camp, and I will be back later with the battle itself.